Due diligence, just for context, is you're going through all your contracts, your liability, like everything deep in the company. So everybody knows like what to prepare for here.
Let me be honest on that. You will be stripped down naked on the curb and studied, scrutinized.
Metaphorically speaking.
No, not really. Now get that picture out of your head, right?
You talk about it privately, we talk about it publicly. This is the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered Podcast. Welcome again to the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered Podcast. I'm your host, Dwiggy, along with crazy Uncle Keith.
What up, Dwigs?
Oh man, you know, we get to do this is such a fun show to do because we get to interview the most amazing people in residential real estate, but every once in a while we get to have somebody who's also our friend on the show. And we got to have Phillip Cantrell, who you're all going to enjoy this, but give him the background on our discussion. So,
well, he recently published a book, which you should all read. We'll put that in the show notes. We talk about it a bit. He shares how he grew his company from one agent in the living room himself to 1,900 agents, one of the largest independent brokerages in the state of Tennessee. He's now in multiple states. He talks about systems. He's a systems guy, the importance of implementing them, and how to do it in an industry that pushes against systems often. What it's like to pivot his business model in real time in the economic downturn. He also shares his thoughts on the industry, mergers and acquisitions, where we are in time and space. It's just a really elegant, thoughtful conversation on residential real estate leadership. You are going to dig it. Put it in your ears, kids.
Phillip, welcome to the podcast. We have to just start with the fact that viewers and listeners should know that Keith and Phillip and I are dear friends. We've had many excursions together at real estate conferences. They are excursions. I'm just going to leave it there. But full disclosure, Phillip is one of my favorite people in residential real estate, and you're all going to understand why. Because he is the most politically correct human being on the planet.
Well, he's a straight shooter.
You're starting off this thing. You're lying, James. Just stop.
Oh, you know, I've been looking forward to this because I love the fact that you are a lot like Keith and I. You just don't hold back. You tell it how it is, and you are who you are, my friend.
Well,
so
I'm old, and it's too. I can't remember what I said yesterday, so I just kind of, put it out there, and it goes.
I like it.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's give viewers and listeners a little bit about your background, because as we're going to dive in today, 43-year career founding 10 separate businesses, including Benchmark.
Been in the business about as long as you've been alive.
I wish I was only
That's one
43.
way to put it, asshole.
I wish I was only 43. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not 43, but I'm close. And I'll state, and then you can jump in here and give us a little bit of that background. Now, founder of one of the largest independent real estate brokerages in the state of Tennessee. You've had quite a career. So just give us kind of the speed round on that, and then we'll dive into our rapid fires and jump into our conversation.
Been a wild ride, I'll tell you that. My family industry was commercial printing, so real estate is actually my second industry. And when I came out of college, my dad and I started a commercial printing company together, and that's like booklets and envelopes and letterheads and that sort of thing. And we
for
built
those
that
of you
up
under the
well.
age of 30,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
You were there when they invented the printing press?
Shut up. It's going to be a pretty damn short interview if you don't behave yourself.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll be good.
But so we sold that company in '88, and I started investing in real estate. And I got into real estate as a rehab investor. They call it flipping now, but HGTV invented that, right?
Right.
So I didn't have my license. I didn't like realtors. I'm still not sure about a bunch of them. But we have realized that I needed to get my license, and then founded Benchmark Realty in 2006 with me and a desk in the front bedroom of a house that we have. So built it up from there, and we now are, I don't know if we're the largest in Tennessee, but we're probably pretty close. We have right at 2,000 agents. We'll do about $5 billion in sales this year.
Good for you.
GCI, that's about 165 million, 160 million, I guess. So,
sheesh.
And
I love that, man. I love those success
stories. We're now in
stories.
Kentucky too, bro. Kentucky
there you
and
go.
Alabama, and we just got our Georgia license. So
I love it.
All right.
Look out, world.
So,
we come.
How long? So you started just you in the living room.
Yeah.
And did you know you were going to open a brokerage right away, or did you sort of evolve into that?
So it's kind of funny. I went to, I actually got my license in 2002 and worked for other brokerages for a number of years and realized that, not being from this industry, I said, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but the way y'all are doing business makes no sense to me at all. So I started doing things a different way and built it up and built it up and built it up. And basically I was serving high-end new construction in Williamson County. And you don't know Williamson County, but it's the 12th wealthiest county in America. It's the county immediately south of Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And so I was.
Is that where all the country stars live, or what?
Pretty much. Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were serving the high-end new construction. And back then, our average list price was about $850. Today, that would be $2 million, as rapidly as they have appreciated here in this area.
Okay.
And built it up to about 14 agents. Thought I was going to die fat and happy doing that. And then the little thing called the mortgage crisis hit. And for the high-end stuff, it hit in 2007, the fall of 2007. And man, it hit so hard, so fast. It was like somebody flipped the light switch off, forgot to tell us the store was closed.
Yeah.
So
still going to
simultaneous with that, my largest builder came to me and said, my houses are not selling. I believe it's Benchmark's fault. So I'm going to go start my own real estate firm. And I didn't understand.
Those are probably still on the market.
Yeah. Well, he's out of business now. They're all out of business now. He enticed 7 of my 13 agents to go with him. And so kicked to the curb and then stomped in the guts. And we reformatted and relaunched February 1st of 2008, literally staring at the abyss. And I think all of 2008, we did $10 million in sales, and I probably did 6 of that myself. So the model works in the down market. The model works in the big market, in the up market, and the rest of it, they say, is history.
Yeah. I love it, man. There's so many stories where people in 2008 just crushed everybody and, they just folded up shop and left. And you were like, nah, we're just going to go a different direction and figure this thing out and, dig in on it. And here you are coming from, for those who were not around at that time, you really do not know how bad things were.
Yeah, it was basically imagine if every property in the United States became unfinanceable overnight. Like no one was lending money on anything.
The ninja loans and all that crap was going on, especially with the high end stuff. And buddy, literally, the phone stopped ringing. We were getting 10, 15 calls a day, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Looking at each other like, what the heck just happened? We don't know.
So before we get to the rapid fire, I got a quick follow-up question. So you have this experience where your main client takes half your company or more. More. You're left in the lurch. More. How long? Like, how do you deal with struggle and resistance? And I won't call it failure because you worked your way through it and out of it. But when you're faced with adversity, what's your process for that as a leader?
That's a good question.
Yeah. How do you process that?
Well, I wrote a book about this.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get to more of it later, but I've read it. It's a good book. Yes.
Well, you should have read it. I sent you one.
You did. I read it. It's a great book.
Yeah, I compete with a man in the mirror. I compete with a man in the mirror, and I spend a lot of time in prayer and introspection. I am a Christian, and I'm not gonna hide that. I spend a lot of time in prayer, trying to figure out what the Lord wanted me to do in the future and in with my life, and that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is I'm married, happily married, have been for 26 years now to my second wife, and that advocacy of a good partner is a lot of what got me through it. I'm just telling you, women possess, this is a compliment to all women, except for the dumb ones, is that women possess an intuition that men are completely devoid of. And my wife has the ability to walk in a room and she can survey the room in like 5 minutes. She can deduce everybody's story and not even having spoken to them. So the trick is listening to that and paying attention to that and paying attention to the small, still voice in the back of your head. Failure happens. It happens to everybody. But it's just like Stephen Covey says, between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space, we have a choice on what our reaction is and what our plan going forward is. And that's the key, is learning to master that space between stimulus and reaction. And the problem is we get in such a rote muscle memory way of responding to stress and failure and to other catastrophes that we just respond automatically and we don't stop and think. And the key is stopping and thinking.
Yeah.
So essentially that's it. I mean, I could go on for a long time on that subject, but that's the message of it.
There's so much power in the pause.
There is.
If you can
100%.
just pause.
And in fact, I would even go so far to say all the power is in the pause. That, if you have automatic reaction, unless you're a mercenary and you're out here dodging bullets, literally, you have you have time to pause. You have time to pause and analyze stuff. And in not doing that, we don't do that because essentially we're lazy.
Yeah.
We get in a certain way of handling stimulus and we just respond that way automatically and we move on. And that's where growth comes, is in the analysis and the pause, for sure.
That's awesome. All right.
I love that. Man, you guys, for viewers and listeners, you guys are in for a treat as we dig deeper into some of this stuff in his book, by the way.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. Okay.
right.
Rapid fire. So other than your amazing book, what's your favorite book or podcast? What would you recommend someone listen to or read?
Well, podcasts, obviously. I mean, this one. Right?
Well, sure.
Hands down, no question. And I'm not
blowing
smoke. I mean, I listen to many podcasts. So this is, I told James a while ago, this is actually the 10th podcast I've been on in about 60 days. That's to say that I have a little bit of experience in podcasts, and this one is primo. You dig deep, you get a broad range of different guests on here, and you talk about different topics. You're not so pigeonholed. Some of them I've been on, some of them I've talked to are so, this is a harsh word, but a little bit superficial. You're going for clicks instead of facts. You guys go for facts. So that's the podcast thing. Now, book, different matter. Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. So if you've never read that book, you need to go buy it today and buy the book. Don't buy the Audible. Buy the book. You buy the Audible too, but the book is one that I actually brought to my leadership team and made them read it and do a book report on it. And I've never done that on any other book.
Yeah.
Adding Simon in there, there's a course that he does that I highly recommend that everybody go and watch and learn. And it's how to become a really good presenter.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic on teaching you the confidence. And it's, I do a lot of public speaking, as you know. So like for me, it's good from that perspective, but I think it applies to every single interaction you have with a human being. There's so much gold in that. So just that you mentioned his name and I was like, it's something that I've just listened to recently with him. And I learned so much in that. And, and I'm on the road doing public speaking a lot and you're just picking up stuff like this.
Yeah.
So
there is an art to it. And I'm, like I said earlier, I'm old. So I picked up a lot of, got a lot of brain damage from doing it the wrong way. But a lot of what he's teaching is stuff I knew, but to hear somebody else say it is like, okay,
sure.
That's validation.
With a structure and a form. Yeah, for sure.
All right. My question, and I'm really interested to see how you answer this, just knowing you. So if you could have lunch with one person, current historical, who would it be and why?
I think, that's a big one because there's so many people I'd like to ask questions of. But I think the biggest one is Jesus Christ. And I just lay it out there because, you hear the voice, you hear the small, still voice in your head, the urgings, you read the Bible and that sort of thing. And I'd just like to say, now tell me what you meant about this part right here. Make sure I'm getting all of it, make sure I'm getting the whole message. And
I think there's a lot of that everybody wants to ask a lot of historical figures about, what did you mean by that specific sentence?
Exactly. I think that's one. If you want to go another one there, I would say Winston Churchill would be the next one. Because
he just became best friends with Keith.
Opposition that he faced, and yet he remained steadfast, and he had the grit and the tenacity to keep going no matter what. And when literally the entire world was against him, including the United States, he still kept going, and his entire government was against him and everything else, and yet he still kept going. I mean, how do you do that?
They were against him before, during, and after.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire time.
100%.
It's
100%.
crazy. Yeah. If you total aside.
So I gave you an answer for those like me and those that are secular completely. So I gave you an answer for both.
And both are great. Have you ever been to the World War II Museum in London?
Not in London. Actually, I'm going next June on a 12-day D-Day tour.
Oh, wow.
Flying into Paris, and we're going to the beaches, and then we're going to go up through Luxembourg and Belgium and into Germany, and then down through Austria and out through Munich.
Good for you.
I'll be firing up the text thread while you're on that one.
Yeah. I did go to the museum down in New Orleans, though.
In New Orleans, that's a good one too. It's a good museum there.
So maybe I've got another bucket list trip there. Keith, you want to go?
It's great. It's wonderful. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, God, you two would going across with all that and be just mayhem.
We would not drink anything on that trip. What are you talking about, James?
Keith doesn't drink anymore.
I mean, not very much.
Me either.
Not very much.
It's kind of sad. We don't.
But I might dust it off for Phillip. Just one time.
All right. So I got some, we really only have like 3 that I want to go through, but just knowing you, I figured this would take up most of the show anyway. So, because these are big ones, and I think they're very relevant to where we are in time and space. And so I want to start with, for people that are wanting to grow their companies. I know you've got some buckets, and you and I've had been able to hear you on stage talk about these things, but let's go from how you grew Benchmark from, from one person to a couple thousand agents. I know that takes time, but you got these kind of incremental things. You've got systems and incremental improvements and values. I want you to just to kind of lay that out from how you started that process and how it's either the same or even different today. Like, give us some background on that, because it's a very small group of people who've ever done something like that in residential real estate.
Well, it's been an interesting ride, actually. So when we reformatted and relaunched, and I want to kind of go back to that for just a second, we actually, up until that point, we were a traditional real estate brokerage. Everybody was on a 80-20 split. I was the rainmaker and, feeding off the business that I created. And what I realized during that tumultuous time period, shock, was that we were going to have to do something radically different or we were not going to survive. And, in that moment, you can either, roll up in a ball and cry about it. You can go hang your shingle on somebody else's wall, or you can figure out a new path forward. And the new path forward I figured out, I didn't, not from this industry, I had to study others. And by the way, that's an important point. There is not a single business system that's ever been developed that's new. They're all copies of somebody else's. They're all copies and refinements of somebody else's. And then they tweak it and it looks new, but it's all the same. And the cavemen invented it, actually, barter and exchange. And that's where it came from. And it's just been refined since then. But anyway, I looked around and I said, the way y'all are doing business makes no sense to me at all. I've got to do something different. And what I did was I went to every major market in the United States, in the Eastern United States, and I studied what were the 900-pound gorillas in those markets doing? What were the big brokerages doing in those markets that were successful, that I saw was survivable in the coming recession? I've got most of a master's degree in economics, so I'm pretty good at recognizing patterns. And I could see the pattern was a cliff. It's not hard to recognize a cliff, right?
they jump out. Yeah, they jump out.
They kind of stand out to you. So I said, well, we're going to switch to a fee-based model, and the fee-based, and start to charge our agents a fee instead of a percentage. And so we changed that format, relaunched February 1 of 2008, and then realized that we were going to have to be something different other than what I call, if you can fog a mirror, you can hang your license here. So we focused heavily on excellence. We focused heavily on training. We focused heavily on previous production. We didn't hire newbies. And that was true for a long time. And that's what allowed us to really get some growth going. But that has to scale. That does not work at low scale. It does not work at low scale. Anybody with 20 agents are considering that, you're not going to succeed. Sorry. You got to plan on getting to 200 like now. So that was the main focus, and we just kept building and building and building and adding locations and adding. We didn't really add a lot of tools and technology because there's so much available to the marketplace already. we're giving you all your money. Go figure it out. We will help guide you. We will help educate you. We will help train you. We will provide a good quality brand to operate under. But how you run your business is up to you. So we focused on that and grew the business. Now, cherry bomb, I actually sold Benchmark in 2020 to United Real Estate Group, United Real Estate Holdings. And why did they want us? Well, if you look at a traditional brokerage, you have two types of costs. You have fixed costs and variable costs. And they typically track together, kind of in a parallel slope upwards as you add agents. In this model, it's more of a stair step. You have revenue from agents increasing, you increase your costs, and you increase your costs, you increase your costs. So in those gaps is where the profitability lies. And you have extreme profitability the more heads you have paying fees, the more heads you have producing fees for you. And heads, I'm talking about agents.
Just to double click on that. Yep. So you mean like if I have 20 agents, I need one printer, but if I have 200 agents, I need 3 printers. And so the costs go up. Like, is that sort of, yeah. Okay. Just trying to frame it up for the listener.
Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Right.
You ever taken that left brain, right brain test? The right brain is the creative. The left brain is analytical. Most people are 50-50, 60-40. An artist is usually 70 right brain, 30% left brain. I am 98% left brain. They made me take the test twice. They said, this guy's got some functional difficulties here because he's so literal. Like, whatever. I don't get it. But what that's enabled me to do is to create systems. Yeah. And, I have in the book, I have 4 pillars of success identified. And one of those is observation. And when you have to be a keen observer in whatever you're doing. And then when you have observed something that occurs over and over again, you must document that. We have a room here with all of the binders in it. This is how we do compliance. This is how we do onboarding. This is how we do offboarding. Everything is written down. Everything is documented. Those are living documents. We change them. We modify them. We grow them. We sand on them, as it were. But they are documented so that we all do business exactly the same way. And that's a big thing. The other thing I learned was, second pillar was delegation, that I can't do it all. This is something James has yet to understand.
I'm trying to teach him.
I'm pretty sure I've had that conversation with you, Phillip, but okay, I'm going to roll with it. Yeah.
So delegating and to make sure that to understand that you can't do it all. You can't.
Okay, so let me ask you a question on that, because you are someone who holds a very high standard. I know this about you.
That's right.
Like you care a lot about the quality of experience and what's being delivered. So that can, in my career, I've struggled with, because I have a high standard as well. So when I delegate, sometimes I want to pull it back because I'm nervous or because I'm, like they're not going to do it as well as I am. How do you push through that? Or really more importantly, when someone makes a mistake and or doesn't do it the way you would do it, how do you respond and react to that?
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It took me years to get past this. And by the way, just for clarification, I am 66 years old and it's taken me most of those 66 years to figure this crap out. So if you're 45 and just now fumbling with it, you're ahead of the game. Most of them don't figure it out until they're 50.
You guys on the age jokes today. Jesus, that's 2 in one episode. It's amazing.
I can do that when you have this much gray hair.
At least you have hair.
So that is a big one, is learning to let go. And again, I won't say counseling, but the counseling of my partner, my wife, her favorite comment is, I will complain about it's not going the way it should. They should be doing this. They shouldn't be doing that. And she'll say, honey, not everybody's like you. And it probably mutters under her breath, and thank God. But the propensity to reach in and pull it back is strong. It's still there. It still exists. It's a matter of controlling your emotions and understanding that you can't grow if you don't let go.
Yeah.
And that's a simple truth that I found along the way.
I want to follow up with something too, Phillip, because you were bringing this and we sort of skipped over it, but I want to get back to this one question because I think it's extremely important. And people are getting this impression of you already as it is. You mentioned this is a compliment.
I don't know if
it is a compliment.
We'll see.
No,
you didn't say anything yet.
You talked about how you grew your business and you were like, we weren't providing technology and stuff. I know you do now, but at the time you weren't. You were really focused on training, support, et cetera. And a lot of brokerages are focused on the tools in order to recruit talent. You didn't do that. You were focused more on the leadership and the vision. Right. And what I'm getting at here is I think people forget that agents many, many times, I believe most of the time, choose the leader that they want to work with. But I also know you, because people are getting to know you as well, as somebody who holds those high standards. So here's my question. How did you build that culture that is up to the standards you want and then leading your people? Like, what was your secret sauce in that? Was it just authenticity? Was it people like those standards that you were actually like, we don't take newbies? Like, give us some context on how you grew your business to be that way when you weren't competing on products and things like that. You were doing it much more around
on toys.
You know,
we weren't competing on toys. We didn't compete on toys.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah. I think, to be honest with you, there's an old saying called speed of the leader, speed of the team. And I think that is kind of the essence of it, that it's all about leadership. It's about who you are. It's about being real. It's about being transparent. It's about being strategic. So, there's the vision, the strategy, and the tactics, right? Don't confuse those three. They're
not the same.
They are sequential, but so many people use them interchangeably, and they are absolutely not. So you have to have a vision, and you have to be able to communicate the vision. You have to say, this is who I am. This is where we're going. Follow me, and I will get you there. And if you're unable to do that, then people won't follow you. Then the next step, as Keith alluded to earlier, is finding others to surround yourself with on a leadership team who can do the same thing, who understand the vision. And don't misunderstand. It's not an ego ride that I'm the one that thought it all up and we're still driving this bus. I don't drive anything now. I mean, I drive a Volkswagen, but I don't drive anything. It is up to the leadership team to carry on the culture of the company, and they are doing an excellent job at it because they just understand and get it, and they've seen the evidence that it works. When you establish a proper vision and people can buy into that vision, and then you present an implementable strategy around that vision, it's a natural, like a wedge shape, like ducks in the sky flying south. They just follow. Yeah. And that's how we did it. And part of that is, as you said, it was brand professionalism. It was making sure that we operate in the highest ethical standard possible. And even though our revenue is predicated on number of people we have paying fees, and to the day I die, will continue to fire people who operate unethically. We don't need a realtor code of ethics. We have our own. You muck up, you're out of here, son. I mean, and it's a lot easier decision for us than it is.
I said that in an audience the other day of brokers. Yeah? Where was I? There was 150 brokers in the room, and one of the comments was that we need to raise the licensing standards and make it so that the industry is more professional. And then a page out of Keith Robinson's book came into my brain. And of course, me being the loudmouth that I am, I was like, why do you need that? Yeah. You all are in charge today. Right. Why don't you just fire people that don't belong in your brokerage? 100%. And everybody got really quiet, and then people started nodding, going, yeah. And I'm like, you're in control. Like,
well, I'll tell you what.
Make the decision.
It goes back to the fear factor thing. I mean, there's fear of failure and the fear of success. So there's also a great fear of change. People are mortified of change. That is the main obstacle, and they don't understand. In our world, we only get X amount dollars per agent per year. That's it. I mean, we don't have this continuing, ongoing additional structure that pays us the more they produce. So in our case, it's a $20,000 decision versus a $200,000 decision to get rid of a high producing agent. And so that is the fear. They're afraid if they do that, how it's going to impact the rest of the business and how it's going to impact their bottom line, which is totally logical. But you have to structure a solution that addresses that in your own head.
When I've found the fear fantasy of the loss that I would have, it actually isn't true. It hurts in the moment, but then usually there's someone maybe in town I've been trying to attract to my company who's like, man, I've been waiting for you to get rid of that idiot. Right.
And the people that are still here, the people that are here, they're saying, oh man, I'm so glad you did that.
Finally. So you get these ancillary benefits on the other side of the fear.
And honestly, that's the danger of waiting too long, is that you actually lose your credibility with your existing team if you wait too long to address an issue, and if you deviate from what you put in writing that is your vision and your strategy.
Yeah.
All right, I want to move us to, because I want to make sure we get time to talk about two main points. So I'd love for you to address acquisition to the degree you can. I know there's some confidentiality around some of that, but there's a lot of acquisition that's going on.
Everybody.
There's a lot of M&A going on right now.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry.
God,
I didn't mean to cuss on your show.
I can say to that. Have you met us?
Here we go.
I'm just kidding.
So talk to us about this. I want to give some people some insights into how that process works. So you obviously sold, you said 2020, you sold Benchmark to United, correct? Yeah. And by the way, just for viewers and listeners, Dan Duffy, CEO of United, we did a pod with him. We'll put that in the show notes if you guys want to check that out. What was it? Let me start here. Give us kind of the scope of, you were thinking about this process. What did you need to do? So maybe a little bit about the due diligence part. Like I know you shopped people because I know you. So you would have shopped different people for different offers, and like kind of just give the general frame up. If someone's thinking about selling their business, what should they do? What should they prepare for? What's the process? And like, especially in today's climate, like how do they think about that?
It's a lot bigger than what you just described. I'll tell you that. So the whole process, now, obviously we talked about age, and I know that's a joke now, but the bottom line is that I realized that sooner or later the calendar was going to get me, and I had an obligation. I felt like I had a moral obligation to my people that had walked through building this company with me to make sure that they were secure, taken care of, and in a structure that fit what we were trying to do and continue to do. So loyalty to people is number one. I didn't really know much about it. And I really, to be blunt, I never put the company on the market. It just happened organically. And it happened over a period of time. And probably as early as 2015, once you get to a certain size. And at one point in time, we were considered by Real Trends the 26th largest privately held brokerage in America. That's just a short list of people that other companies want to acquire. So I would get the call.
Phone started ringing.
Yeah, phone started ringing. Emails started coming in. Some would want to do an acquisition. Some would want to sell us a franchise, which I didn't want to do. And some would just want to do some kind of combination. Didn't know what that meant. And, honestly, I didn't really understand M&A. I didn't understand mergers and acquisitions. So I went back, I said, stop calling. I quit taking the calls. And I put myself through school, and air quotes on that. I bought 15 books on mergers and acquisitions, and I read every one of them cover to cover. And some of them, they're so highlighted up and messed up, you would have a hard time reading them today. But I knew that I had to educate myself on how to do this. If I didn't, because I had one shot at it. Because of my age, I had one shot at it. And no pressure at all.
Yeah.
So once I had kind of withdrawn from those communications, then I began to accept, once I felt like I had learned something about the process, I began to accept those phone calls. And I realized that over a period of time that it was going to be more about similarity in model and similarity in culture. Culture's a big one. Before I could actually select somebody who wanted to do this. And of course, there were lots of good suitors, and that's what I call them in the book, suitors. There were lots of good ones. All had different aspirations and different goals. And the biggest problem for me was what happens to the company if Philip's not running it anymore. If I'm not 100% writing the checks, controlling everything, or at least have ultimate authority on everything, what happens then? A lot of them just wanted to kind of throw it on the wagon, rebrand it, chuck on down the road. That wasn't what I felt fit best for my people at that time. And then I got a call from Steve Murray at Real Trends. He called me one day and said, I got a guy with a suitcase full of cash and you need to talk to him. How can you resist an invite like that, right?
Yeah. By the way, Phillip, if you ever bump into another one of those, send them my way, brother. Like anybody with a bag full of cash that needs a friend, I'm available.
Well, he was talking about Dan Duffy, who you mentioned, and we arranged a meeting.
Phenomenal guy.
He came down here, spent a day, and realized that we had a lot of not just company culture compatibility and model similarity, but also personal compatibility. And, I went to Dallas and spent some time with them and came back with an LOI. That was in in December of 2019. And January, February of 2020, we were going to negotiate out the letter of intent and go through the due diligence, we were progressing through that.
Due diligence, just for context, is you're going through all your contracts, your liability, like everything deep in the company. So everybody knows like what to prepare for here.
Let me be honest on that. You will be stripped down naked on the curb and studied, scrutinized.
Metaphorically speaking.
No, not really. Now get that picture out of your head, right? No, you'll be everything, every contract, every independent contractors agreement, every transaction. The history of your business for the last 5 years will be scrutinized like you wouldn't believe.
At least you had systems. You had stuff written down.
Yes.
Yes. Most people don't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that was part of my advocacy is to prepare. And let that be part of your preparation, is to make sure you've got all the files in the right boxes and the right boxes labeled and on the right shelf. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem. And the biggest problem that we see now that I'm on the other side is that people have real estate and they rent it to the company at exorbitant rates, and they rely on that for income, or they have employees that are relatives and they're really not doing much and they're getting a big salary. All those things will be found out. All those things impact your valuation. All those things impact what you walk away from the table with and how happy the thing is, the transaction is. So we progressed through the due diligence portion, and then the world shut down in March. In our world, it shut down in March of 2020. And he called me one day and he said, "I'm sorry, man, but we got to press the pause button on this transaction." And I said, "Well, I understand. It's not a problem. And but just keep in mind, I've already got $26,000 invested in legal fees. And just keep that, let that burn in the back of your head. Oh, I got it. Fast forward to July of 2020, he gives me a call and says, "Want to come down and take you to dinner?" And of course, that's for me, it's an immediate big red flag. I'm going to get the big kiss goodbye here. Yeah. And so as soon as we sat down, I asked him, I said, "What's this about? Is it to keep us in play, or is it to kiss goodbye?" Yeah.
Another Phillip trait, patience, tremendous patience.
Yeah. I'm a very patient fella. Yeah. It's like right now, I want to be patient. So I asked him that, and he says it's to keep it going, keep it in play. And I said, "Okay, great." And I'll tell you this. So I took him back to the hotel after dinner. We had a nice dinner. It was fine. It was all good. We still had not restarted the due diligence process yet. Getting out of my car at the hotel, and he reaches down in his briefcase and hands me an envelope. And I said, "What's this?" He said, "It's a check for your legal fees." He said, "If you don't close, at least you've been made whole." And I said, I said to myself, this is a man I can do business with. And I told him, if we close, I'm going to give it back to you. If we don't close, I'm going to cash it. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
So, fast forward to December 5th, 2020, we actually did close. We went to dinner. I think it was about 5 days later. And the first thing we sat down, I pulled the envelope out and handed him back his check. If you don't have that kind of compatibility with the person you're doing business with, then you got the wrong partner in business, period.
Can I ask a question about that? Because having spent time with both of you, you're one of the more grounded people that I've met. Right? Like you're a straight line thinker,
very literal.
Right?
Yeah.
You're very literal. Exactly. 98%. We talked about it earlier. Dan Duffy, on the other hand, like he'll tell you how string theory fits into residential real estate. And I mean, he is
Dan, back down here.
How does that work? Like, how is it the whole opposites attract thing, or the odd couple, or like, how did that fit together?
So let me answer you by finishing the rest of the story. And the rest of the story is that I had a 2-year earnout. So I got part of my money on the front end the day we closed, and part of it in 2 years, as long as we maintained our EBITDA. We didn't have to improve it. We just had to maintain our EBITDA. Now, every deal is different. So I'm not saying that's the deal you are going to get, could get, ought to get. I'm just saying that was my deal. So here we are, and that was in that earnout period was the limit of my requirement to remain here. And here we are in 2025, nearly, we're approaching 3 years past that limit, and yet I'm still here. Am I here every day? No, but I am here still impactful in the business. An additional role that I have taken on is a title that's gratuitously named EVP of Strategy for United Real Estate. And all what it is a coaching call, I guess is a good word for it, between Dan and I. That he bounces ideas off me, I bounce ideas off him, and he keeps him grounded, because we all have to understand our limitations and our strengths and our powers and our weaknesses. And if we don't find people to plug those gaps, then we're going to be just bumping along the bottom forever. So kudos to him for recognizing that. And I think that I don't really care about the title. In fact, the end of this year, I am releasing that title and saying, you may have that title back, because I don't really care about titles. I'm actually going to go to a consultant role. And so I will no longer be a W-2 employee of the company I founded 20 years ago. And that is a very weird feeling right now.
I bet.
That I'm going through. But the fact that I feel comfortable doing that, the fact that I felt comfortable remaining here for 3 years past the requirement, should tell you how the compatibility works out. If he does something dumb, I'm going to tell him that's dumb. If I do something dumb, he's going to tell me that's dumb. And you have to have that communication level with the people you do business with, or you're going to struggle for sure.
You have you mentioned something that I just want to like hone in on, that when you can understand other people's superpowers and their greatness and not lose sight of it, because everyone will make you crazy, right? Like people drive, they will make you nuts. And
I do with Keith all the time.
James,
he's actually talking about me right now. He's just not actually.
No, I know you both.
I mean, but but the more you can anchor into and understand someone's greatness, right? Then you can give them grace on the other stuff, and hopefully they'll do the same with you. Right.
Well, everybody, you have to acknowledge and appreciate the strengths. You have to recognize the weaknesses. We have a saying in the South called "Bless your heart."
I'm familiar. It's been directed at me more than once.
I've heard it said to me a lot.
This is one of those situations where that really applies. When somebody that does something that you fully respect makes a bad move or a dumb call, and say, "Well, bless your heart. Let me help you understand how that probably could have been better." And that grace is required of all of us.
Absolutely.
We have to have that. And honestly, I think, Keith, that's how we all grow and become stronger.
Absolutely.
If we're intelligent and mature enough to recognize this person is trying to help me, this person is not criticizing me or tearing me down, this person is trying to help me, there's magnificent strength in that.
Yeah, everyone I think needs 3 truth tellers in their life. At least 3 people who will tell you when
I had 3, but I killed one of them, so I'm down to 2 now.
Well, I got a contract out on
That's
one.
That's not covered in the book. I think it's a good segue, actually. So we'll kind of wrap with this, and I think it's actually a great way to end this podcast. So let's talk about your new book. I know you spent a few years putting it together. Basically. Right.
Really, a lifetime. Really.
When you read it, it's a great way to put that, Keith. So titled "Failing My Way to Success."
The tagline is even more important than the initial title. "Failing My Way to Success: Lessons from 42 years of winning and losing in business."
Which I think is
purposely.
So tell us about it.
I purposely tried to be raw and honest and forthcoming. And I talk about a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have, but it is what it is. It happened, and it helped somebody else. So my philosophy is this. So I've had my liquidity event, right? As so often happens at this level, people will just take the money and go to the farm, or they go on the speaking tour and just show up, kiss my ring, and go on. And I think that's okay if that works for them. But I feel that we have a different obligation. See, when I go to my grave and the Lord calls me home, everything up here goes with me, unless I have documented. This goes back to the systems approach. Unless I have documented and tried to articulate as much as possible. And that's essentially what I'm trying to do with the book. I am leaving this behind for other generations to understand, so they can avoid the landmines that I've stepped on and blown both my legs off. and they can keep from that happening to them. And if I can save one person, and I said this from the beginning, if this book helps one person, I'm calling it a magnificent success.
Yeah.
And it has so far done really, really well. It's been number one on Amazon at least 3 times.
Yep.
And it's still tracking along. But it is a story of personal story of grit, resilience, how to handle fear, how to deal with fear, what happened when I didn't deal with fear, what happened when I encountered a bad situation, and I unvarnished tell the story. And then I talk about the various businesses that I've been in. And 10 separate businesses that I have founded. Benchmark is only one of those. It's the biggest one, of course, but 10 separate businesses. And in my record in business, if you put it in sporting team terms, is 4, 4, and 2. So I've had 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties, which is kind of like kissing your sister. It's really a loss. So really 4 and 6 would be the way to phrase that.
Must be a Southern analogy. What I love about what you did here, though, is you're very authentic about it. It's easy for people to talk about wins all the time. Right. And it's like, everyone gets excited about the motivational speaker that had all these wins. But I love how you talk about, as you put it, the failings, the things that you didn't succeed in, and you go really deep on that. And
the natural propensity is to thump your chest and say, look what I did.
Right.
You could be like me if you do this and work hard enough and all this other stuff. And we are all humans.
What's funny, I find that I trust people much more when I, I'll see a speaker on stage and they're sharing their wins, their highlight reel, whatever. And then you might have dinner with them after.
Yeah.
And like when I hear about
and you're thinking,
people's
Lord,
struggles,
what an empty suit.
Yeah. I find I trust them so much more. I've got a question about the book. I've read it. It's phenomenal. You should all buy it and read it.
You're kind enough to do an editorial review before he even read it. So
I actually had that very early
really
version.
appreciate that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I wanted about the book, which I've read, which is great. Everyone should read it. You're dumb if you don't. This was what I felt was an overarching theme. And it was really like 2 bullet points that just kept coming back up again and again and again. This is what I gleaned from it. I'm curious if that was intended. But serving others and systems. And I felt like chapter after chapter, it just came back to, if I can serve other people at the highest level and then systematize how I serve them.
That's right.
Then profit, whatever I want in life will take care of itself after that. That's probably a dramatic oversimplification, which I'm known for, but that is sort of what I took away. Was there more to the message, or would you say that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always more to the message because I want to read the whole book, but the overriding theme is that, and it goes back to what I learned a long time ago, and you don't know who Earl Nightingale is, but Earl Nightingale was pre all these other gurus that talk about success and stuff.
Wasn't he a door-to-door salesman originally?
Originally. He based most of his work on Napoleon Hill, which is probably a name that Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
Zig Ziglar followed him, so that same genre of coaches. He had a saying, and he tells a story and tells all about it. But the end of the story is that you can never focus on the money. You must focus on the service, because service is a scoreboard. Money is a scoreboard of your service to others. If you focus on the money, you've already lost. So if you want more money, all you have to do is find more people to serve. Help enough people get what they want, and you will never want for anything.
Yeah.
But in our industry, especially, we are so focused on the money. It drives me nuts. Everybody says, well, you cheated me $100 on that commission check. Are you freaking kidding me? You're on a 100% commission plan.
How could I?
Right. But human nature, especially American human nature, is we are very tunely focused on the money, and that is a path to failure. So that's one, and then understanding what people's needs are, and then documenting systems to serve those needs, and then it becomes Jim Collins calls it a flywheel effect. It becomes a flywheel. You just keep doing the same thing. It takes a long time to get it moving, but once you keep it moving, once you get it moving, it's easy to keep moving, relatively easy.
Yeah.
But it's a very astute observation. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's a great book.
Phillip, first of all, I want to say thank you for being here. It's always,
thanks for having me.
I always learn something from you whenever we get to talk or have dinner or whatever. There's always some nugget that I'm like, oh, that's a good piece of information to take back. And number two is thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah.
And I everybody's kind of getting this, but Phil and I have been talking for many years, and I'm really, really happy that you were able to do that and share that wisdom with people and, be authentic in just who you are. Cause I think we need more of that.
We need a whole lot more of that in this industry, especially. There's way too much posturing and hiding behind labels and hiding behind impressions.
TikTok videos.
Yeah. Let's just be real people. Let's have a conversation. Let's just be real. 100%.
Man, the world could use more.
I really appreciate you guys having me here today. You want to give my website address?
Yeah, we're gonna put. Go ahead and say it. Give the website address, but we're gonna also put it in the show notes.
It's hard to remember. It's phillipcantrell.com.
There you go.
There it is. We'll link to it in the show notes. Buy the book, kids.
Get the book. You guys, you genuinely will love reading it. You will learn a lot. It'll give you some inspiration, and it's a great read.
Book number 2 is already spinning up in my head.
Oh, really? Okay.
And this one is called Purpose Before Profit. It's a greater emphasis of the theme that you picked out there, Keith.
Yeah.
A focus on, it's along the lines of Simon Sinek's Understanding Your Why.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that. All
right. Once it's done, I'll read it. Maybe I can get on the early release
We'll have you back on.
2028.
We'll have you back on the show.
Phillip,
I thought you were going to write a book called How Not to Take a Vacation, Phillip. So I'm glad that you are actually.
Shots fired.
I'm glad that you're doing that trip, man. That'll be a good trip for you.
Yeah.
So
I'm firing up the text thread for that one.
Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Phillip, appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks
appreciate
for being
it
here.
very much.
Talk to you soon. All right. Appreciate you.
We don't like secrets around here. Subscribe now and share with other agents and brokerages. You just might learn something.